10,000 hours is a steep mountain to climb to become a master, especially when the task at hand puts a relentless demand on your body. There is nothing casual about this sport. It's all in, all effort, all focus. It takes a lot from you, but the reward is unmatched. Mastery of oneself, an acute understanding of your weaknesses with an explosive sense of your strengths. Being able to complete the climb to mastery requires the proper nutrition. This is why it's important to take in a potent blend of electrolytes that is in tune with your output and brings strength to your goals. This potent blend is only found in salt electrolytes. Salt targets your depleted electrolyte levels with a boost of hydration and health. It gives your body the baseline recovery it needs.
Ladies and gents, we are joined by the ghost of the Macho Man, Randy Savage. Cam Hurd showing up sleeveless, letting us know that obviously his strength and conditioning coach is putting him into overtime. Cam, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. Feeling good.
Who is your strength and conditioning coach for those who may not be in the know?
Shout out to Asim Fayez, my strength and conditioning coach for the last 2.5, maybe more years. He's definitely helped me deal with a lot of injuries, build some solid muscle specifically for the PGF. We started back in June, started like a 5-month program of PGFs in November. So we got to get bigger and we got to get better. We got to get stronger. And that's exactly what we did.
Because the word on the street was initially, you're not as big, right?
Yeah.
And then immediately I thought, well, I don't know if they're looking at his Instagram at both what he's eating and what Asim is putting you through. So what is your response to those who thought you might be undersized in this competition?
I mean, like you said, they don't know what's going on behind the scenes. So it's all fuel for the fire. I love hearing that. They're like, he's a small guy. I might be shorter, but I could put on some weight and hang with these big boys.
Hey, man, I'm stoked for it because it adds some variety to the proceedings. What did it feel like to get drafted this time around, sir?
Felt good. It's a lot of big names out here. So you never know. You might go up there and not go for as much as you want, but also you don't want to go for too much because you want to have a well-rounded team. So a lot goes into it, but being a veteran now, I kind of knew what to expect, and I've been through it a couple times, but still feels good to go up there and hear them shouting back and forth, trying to get you on their side.
Well, you mentioned being prepared this time. You brought a book. Now, listen, I don't know if you understand that grapplers mostly cannot read, but I am curious why you brought this book. And as you were going up, it was in your hand.
Well, one, it matched my watch.
Yeah. I always coordinate my book watch.
I can't read it either.
That's a strong fashion. But
yeah. But also, the title of the book kind of goes along with what you were just saying. Some people might be, I'm too small, or I haven't put up enough points in the past to really make a difference for my team. And, those are all just outside opinions. And as this book says, I'm not going to give a fuck.
When did you decide you were going to do this? Because to me, I was like, yo, how long was this in the works?
Actually, this was on the way out the door. I'm staying with a good buddy of mine who lives out here, Zach Nyberts. A shout out to him for putting me up for the week. And on the way out, he was like, you need a book, like just a prop. So he ran downstairs and gave me this on the way out. And
a very smart man, by the way. So give that man a raise, because honestly, when he said you need a book, what was your first reaction before you knew what book he was going to get for you?
I wasn't sure where he was going with it, honestly, but I trust him.
He's about to be like,
let him run.
Brother, Clifford, the big dog.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I think this is the way to do. Like,
Have you heard about these fish?
Right.
There's one, there's two, and then there's red and blue fish. It's crazy.
The fact that was a possibility would make me very nervous, but I think this worked. And you know what the nice part to me is? It's character building, which we love here at the PGF. But it was the subtlest statement that I saw from anybody here where I go, you know what? Good for you. Way to put it out there. So, Tim, what do you have for us, sir?
I think you come in ready. I mean, you got the look, you've got the book, you've got the experience. Having participated in 2 different formats of draft, where season 6 had a ranked order, season 7 had a randomized order, What's your preference, and how do you feel like that impacted the composition of the teams?
I definitely shook it up. When I saw that they were randomizing, I was like, at least it's definitely going to keep everybody tuned in until the very end, with Ryan Aiken being the 20th pick. So it keeps it interesting from beginning to end, and it definitely makes the strategy a little more complicated. I guess it's something that they haven't done before the PGF, so coaches had to figure it out, managers had to figure it out, and I think it's good.
Kevin.
Yeah, for anybody with the audacity to stand with you, you got like a couch picked out, or what are we going for?
I do. I got a couch with my target on there. Somebody gets in front, I'm definitely going to pull the trigger.
Cam, I don't want to preview anything here.
Yeah.
But last year, you were the best dressed. Now, we're not ready to award anything yet.
Yeah.
But I would like to hear a description of the drip. So walk us through the apparel, sir.
I mean, it's obviously got to be the best dressed again. I came out here to make another statement.
Cam,
So
I'm not going to do this on air. I'm not going to give you the full thing until I've had time to analyze every single person here. And I will say,
Listen,
there is definitely one person who you might need to worry about in terms of winning best dressed.
all right, fair enough.
And do you think you know who that person is?
I have a good feeling.
Okay.
I think it's got to be Kyle Chambers. He looks pretty good, pretty sharp.
But what's the case for you over him then?
Oh, I mean, I got more chains on for one. I got bracelets on. I got no sleeves. He's got sleeves. So,
that's a huge,
that's game changer.
This is a classic sunglasses versus hats battle, because Kyle's rocking the hat today. Cam's got the sunglasses.
It's a very tight contest.
Hold on. First disqualify. He showed up with sleeves. I mean, grounds for dismissal here.
Sleeves are out for 2025.
Here's the weird part. The ice is good. I like that.
Thank you.
Last year you did great already. It's the glasses this time, I feel, is the real subtle touch. What are you wearing on the glasses, sir?
These are the Key glasses. I actually picked them up yesterday at the mall here in Vegas. It's kind of become a tradition. Whenever I come out here, I go out there and buy a pair of sunglasses. So I actually got two yesterday. They had a nice buy one, get one deal going on. So if you guys get some free time, check it out.
You didn't bring them for this guy? Come on, bro.
This guy.
I did. I got two pair for myself.
Saying.
He is the champ.
Listen,
He is the champ.
guys. It's just
I mean,
it's
glasses to
hard
glasses.
carrying this weight. It's so difficult. But I just want to point this out to you. You always give us great clashes, so we're super stoked for how you're going to compete again this week. And I would just ask you this last question, which is, what can you tell the camera right there that we can expect for you for this week, sir?
I didn't expect action always with me, but a lot of improvement from last year, abilities to find finishes and secure points for my team in different positions. I know you mentioned, I'm typically a wrestler. I've been working on rounding my game out a little bit more, so you might be a little surprised to see me pull guard maybe on a guy or two. So we'll see, but I've got some tricks up my sleeve and been working a lot in the last 5 months to put on a show this week. So I'm excited.
Welcome back, sir. We can't wait to see you on the mats. Please take that book and, let's see how it plays out this week, my man.
Thank you.
Hey, congrats. Welcome back, sir. Ladies and gents, we are now joined by one Sebastian Attar. Sebastian, how does it feel to be here at the big dance after qualifying your way to the PGF?
It's pretty crazy. It's just didn't think it was ever going to happen, but now we're here. Went for $1,200. A bit too expensive. Gonna try and make it worth it, but all in all, it's a good time.
Nobody has come here to say that they were too expensive. Why are you taking that approach when it's already happened?
I mean, these high-level guys, it'd be great to have them on our team. We've got a bunch of guys who are up and coming, which is good. We're going to have to prove ourselves now, but it would have been nice to just ride off to the sunset with someone really, really great on the team.
Who do you have on your team currently?
We have Kamoy Anderson, Marchin, and we have Fedor. So three guys. I mean, this is not bad guys. This is great guys. Not the highest level guys on paper in the room, but I think we're going to show something else.
There's also the element of surprise. Like, there's stuff that you think you know going into the week of PGF, but sometimes having a group of assassins that people are underestimating, you have your suicide squad that can get the job done. So keep that in mind as things go on.
That's what we're counting on. We're counting on that suicide squad idea, going in there.
Yeah,
shock everyone.
So let me ask this. You've been one of the more active folks promoting yourself. You've been making some funny videos, but I have to ask, you were doing something in the gym. where you were moving up, and I couldn't tell what they were doing to your head. It seemed like
It's
they
called
were
collar ties. If you do jiu-jitsu, you know about collar ties.
collar ties. Okay, so can you explain the exercise you were doing to improve your collar ties?
Yeah, so it's, just a bit of back extension. But at the top of the extension, you just don't get that full thoracic extension. So got my friend to hit me with some collar ties at the top. I was reaching for his legs, single leg situation. And just trying to get better at a few things at once.
I'm not a critic, but I have notes. The first thing looked like when you are near the panda cage and they kind of just want to cuddle you because he would look like he was ruffling your hair.
I mean, this is jiu-jitsu. We do cuddling,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a sport. Cuddling.
Very nice, very nice. You seemed all in great spirits today. What has the bulking session been like for you?
The bulking session, what does that mean?
So you were getting fatter.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
The fattening.
Yes.
Yeah, so hibernation, similar to a bear. Eat a lot at once. So, I've eaten a lot of food. And now, I'm feeling pretty big.
You are looking right in shape for this. Tim, do you have any questions?
How much confidence do you gain winning the qualifiers?
I'm pretty confident as it is. The qualifier was really easy.
So is
And
that
I'm
a
hoping-
false humility then when you said $1,200 wasn't worth it?
Hey, listen, I understand who I am on paper. On paper, $1,200 is too much. But deep down, I'm worth the whole budget.
Well said.
Thank you. Kevin, do you have any questions?
Excited to have you in here. How great is everything going for you?
Are there any people on the roster that you particularly want matches with?
Is there anyone? It's very hard to say. I don't want matches with people. I want to submit people. So if I have a match with someone, I don't submit them. So that's interesting. But some of those high-level guys, I mean, it'd be great to have a match with Elijah Carlton. He pretty much bashed me the whole time last time, but I would like to bash him this time.
Well, there is a waiting list for that, unfortunately. So I will let you know about that.
Yeah, I know Kevin's on the list. He wants to fight Elijah Carlton as well. So if I don't want to, I'll get you to do it for me.
Oh, I don't think you've heard. They're bad.
It's a
They're together
different
now.
Elijah.
Oh, they're friends now.
Devastating.
Oh, well.
Sorry,
then.
we had to break kayfabe here.
Yeah.
But speaking of which,
I don't think you're short for that.
you came up to me and you were sizing me up. And I was like, sir, I'm not in this competition. I'm literally just emptying out my car. But you came up very aggressively to me, and I was like, what's happening here, kid? So what is happening? Are we good? Where are we at?
I mean, I just remember last time you've been telling me you're going to DDT me on site.
I will.
Right? And that's why I was getting my collar ties ready in the gym, getting my thoracic spine strong.
When you say thoracic spine, where did you learn this from?
That's right.
Somewhere not
Here and there.
So yeah, in anatomy, there's a few things. I am actually a bit of a unique human. I have a thoracic spine, which has to be trained. Everyone else doesn't have this. That's why I'm so strong and devious. So I'll be using that thoracic spine when you're DDT.
It sounds like every time you say it, you're trying to pitch a dinosaur that wasn't featured in Jurassic World.
Oh, Thoracosaurus Rex, yeah.
There we go. Okay. I was sure I was on that. No, see, here's the thing. I can't DDT you yet because you didn't get drafted. From here till the end of Friday, don't know. Don't know if it happens.
I think I know what's going to happen. Reversal.
Reversal?
Immediate.
Okay. It's good to know. It was very interesting because your buddy, Christian, who's also here, I was glad to see him. And he was looking over, and I showed you guys both the money and the bank briefcase that I have.
Well, I don't know anyone called Christian, but Christos
Oh,
was
Christos, my
really
apologies.
interested in your money in the bank. And yeah, I mean, if we see it again, we're taking it. The first time we're having a look, sizing it up. I think one of us needs to take it, and it could be him.
Let me just point this out. If you win, say $20,000, and I have that briefcase,
You'll sell it to me
would I sell it to
for
you?
20,000 because I'll buy it.
Oh. This took a very drastic turn. Yeah, I would definitely sell it to you. We
Okay,
make a
done.
profit.
Deal.
All right, done. Listen, we made a lot of great stuff happen here. What are you most excited about this week, sir?
I'm excited to submit some high-level guys. I mean, I know I can do it. So, give me their limbs. It's time. It's time to do it.
Well, I have to tell you, you're also on one of Team ESPARZA's here on one of my fantasy groups. So I'm very excited for that.
And this is the fantasy champion.
I am the fantasy champion.
So that does help.
it does help.
It's not helping our concert.
No?
Oh my goodness. Oh,
What's the
this is
cause?
so heavy.
It's just so much of this, man.
It's you know what it is it's just like I have it. So why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And I can't wait for you to get your second one after this season.
Well, thank you. That's so nice of you. Sebastian, a lot of people say you're not a nice guy. I don't see it. I see
They
you're
say
one of
that.
the nicest guys.
I am the nicest guy, not one of. The nicest guy there is.
Sebastian. I will put
Yeah,
this
they're
out
nice guy
here
built.
right now. Obviously, you're going to be a character to watch here this week, but I think you are going to surprise some people this week. So I'm very much looking forward to you going.
I really hope I do as well. It's gonna be good.
So congratulations, welcome here. Have a great time this week, and we look forward to seeing your nonsense.
Thanks, bro. I look forward to it as well. Thanks, boys.
Thanks, man.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Oh, cheers.
Thoracic is really. I saw the glimmer in your
Thoracic
eyes
is-
when you heard it, Raph. I was looking
it's
at you.
just-
You went like, oh,
It's magical. What is up, ladies and gents? It is your friendly neighborhood BJJ podcaster, RAF ESPARZA, coming to you with another great installment of the Bullpen, a joint venture of the Grappling Hour and Inside BJJ. There's a lot of news that's happening around this piece. You guys don't know, but it is intense out here. Lots and lots of people are excited about the final day of team action. And while you think you know what's going on, there's still a ton of storylines that are playing out right before your eyes. We're glad that you're joining us, and I got to bring on my co-hosts. We'll start first with Tim Freeman. Tim, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, Raph. Listen, I told you Wednesday was a meat grinder, but I didn't expect it to be this big of a meat grinder. I can't keep track of who's in and who's out. Day 4 of the PGF, we're going to figure out who the team champ is, and we're also going to figure out who solidifies their spot in the top 8 for the individual tournament tomorrow.
Appreciate that. We now move on over to Kevin Sherrill. Kevin, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing better than I was about 40 seconds ago when I finally got an answer on who is
Wait.
going.
That. It's on the board. It's
You're
on
right.
the board.
You're right.
So
You're
I
right.
know you forget these
We'll
things,
see.
but I stare exclusively.
I was going to give a little teaser.
You know what? That was given away. I don't know what kind of teases you do, but that's definitely just being like, hey, here's the whole cow. Enjoy it, everybody. Well, we're glad that you guys are joining us. Why don't we go ahead and first start with the submission of the night. We are proud to guess it didn't go to the next scene. It's not in there? Well,
I suppose if you don't show up to the match, maybe it's 7 points. If it never happened.
let me describe
the
it for
first
you.
minute.
It was Travis Thomas who hit a beautiful triangle within the first minute. And believe it or not, even though there's been 3 days of great competition, it was the first 7-point score of the entire tournament. So as a result of that, we were incredibly impressed. And yes, that does deserve submission of the night. Just imagine it in your heads. A very lanky dude hitting a beautiful triangle, finishing it, and then taking off the shirt to flex to the girl and be like, yo, check this out. Because he's been doing that every single time. I think that's actually how he got the money.
Wow, it's like I'm there, Raph.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. I am told I am a storyteller. Why don't we go now to the board and get through some of the topics that are happening in this world. We'll start first with updates. Gentlemen, I think it's important that people at home know exactly what's going on. So I'd like to go ahead and start with you, Tim Freeman. What updates do the people need to know about?
Well, here's what you need to know. The big boys, it's Manwich Day. Like, these guys are beating each other up. They're bringing the beef. They're slinging it and dinging it. I can't figure out who's in and who's out. I know that Nathan Haddad is in. Asari's out. Chambers out. Abe is out. I don't know. I might have to jump in today, which would be, I'd probably break a hip, but man, they're like getting a little desperate to fill in alternates. You're going to have to stay tuned to actually figure out what the lineups are. My partner here will give you some updates on some of that, I believe, but it's been really hard to track in terms of, I think this is the highest level of attrition that we've seen in a season at the PGF. I don't even know if the coaches exactly have their lineup set yet, but we do know those names are for sure. You have to stick around and get the rest.
Well, thank you for that. I'm going to come to you, Kevin. What updates on maybe even the news or the fantasy that you have for us?
So we have news updates. We'll revisit them in a little bit.
Okay.
But I've been running around for about the last 40 minutes, and I finally had to have the team coaches, because you can't trust the athletes, put down on a card. The athletes will just tell you what they've heard, which is not what it is. Write down on this card your lineup, and there are 4 question marks on this thing that the coaches themselves put on it. I don't think anybody really knows what's going to happen. Stay tuned for the crazy shell game we're about to have.
Well, thank you for that. Like I said, a lot of stuff is developing here at the show, so we are happy that you guys are rolling with us. And I am told that we apparently have some replay to look over because, for whatever reason, small technical difficulty, but I think now we can actually throw to that replay from yesterday. Look at this finish. Kevin, walk us through this.
Oh, man, that's a fantastic switch. He was looking for the armbar for a brief second, and as soon as he felt him sit up, Travis locks up that figure 4. Now you see him sliding slightly over the head. He scoops his head back up to pull him back into the triangle. That is absolute PGF veteran stuff, where he's sitting there going, no. I don't want the 4. I want the 7. You're not handing me the arm. That was fantastic, savvy, good composure, good fight.
And in case you guys didn't watch yesterday's PGF court, that was a deep source of contention here.
9 points for Travis Thomas.
Both. Nope, that's not how that works. We don't just
10 in the first
accumulate score. This is how you know that Kevin cheats at board games. Like, you start finding out. We have a producer friend. We're always like, oh, he's playing by Joey rules, which we're just like, he's just inventing anytime he starts doing that. So now I know all about, one, Kevin Sherrill's game nights. Why don't we go to our next topic here? And why don't we start talking about who's on the bubble? Now, listen, it comes down to some very razor close results here. So today, 8 people will advance to the finale tomorrow. The question is who and who is on that bubble. I'll start with you, Kevin Sherrill.
Right, so bear in mind we could have a situation like last season where someone who makes the top 8 steps out and allows someone in. I don't want to speak that into existence, but there could be an injury today among the top 8, and then suddenly it mixes everything up. But as things stand right now, we have Elijah at 6, Ernesto at 7, and then Brad Schneider and Chris Wojcik tied at 8. Now, Elijah has Paul Ardea, whoever Fedor's alternate is, or Fedor himself. We believe Fedor is going to compete today, so it should be Fedor. Then Brad Schneider, who I just mentioned, is tied for 8th. That's a big match coming up. Ernesto has Sebastian Attard, Dory's alternate, whoever that ends up being, and whoever comes in for Davis Asare. We have word it may be Christos, but again, nobody seems to know. It's going to be a very exciting day. Brad Schneider has Kimoe, or potential alternate, Adam Bradley's alternate, whoever that ends up being, and Elijah. Wojcik is lined up to have a good day. He may take a big lead. He won't be helped out probably by his team, like Brad Schneider with New Hope, but he has Cam Hurd, Nathan Haddad, and whoever comes in for Kyle Chambers. Abraham Lamontagne and Davis Asare were also on the outside looking in. Unfortunately, neither of them is competing today. So we're looking at 10, 11, and 12. None of them are competing today. We're looking at a very, very broken lineup. Man, it's been a rough week for these guys.
Well, let's do some math. The math cannot be firmly set, as we've learned from our many interactions with Kevin Sherrill, and as we continue to get that graphic off so we can see my beautiful face. The one thing that I want to bring to everybody's attention here is that, yes, you do see 3 people who are out, but if somebody gets 2 kills, they could make themselves a contender today. So everything you think you know is still within flux. It'll be very interesting to see who edges forward and if maybe a new contender emerges today. We'll go to our next topic right now. Now, this one was submitted by Tim, so I'll go ahead and let him give the description for this particular thought.
Well, we're going with what movie would best kind of represent the plot of the PGF Season 7. And I thought long and hard about this, and I was trying to I thought about replacements, but I thought, man, that's just too easy, low-hanging fruit. And I'm going with Kingpin. I think this is it. I think we've got Dean Lister reprising Woody Harrelson's role as Roy Munson, the star bowler who loses his hand and can't bowl. We have Dean in the black belt sling, and he brings in his star pupil, Marcin Masulovic, who reprises the role of Randy Quaid as Ishmael. You know the famous one. I don't want to be the one to tell him, but with those narrow hips, she's only going to be able to have 6 or 7 kids. Great movie. And then making his on-screen debut, Pedro Sauer replaces Bill Murray as the great Ernie McCracken. This is the BJJ version. Dean has convinced Marcin to come out to Las Vegas to win $100,000. Except in this version, New Hope wins, and they come in second place.
I have to tell you, if anybody gives Ernie McCracken energy, it is Elijah Carlton. So I think I want to do some recasting. We'll get to that. Kevin, did you have any movies that best represent the PGF Season 7?
Yeah, I went to one movie specifically, and it was Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Yes, the scene you are assuming was the one I went to first, which is "'Tis but a scratch. It's just a flesh wound. I've had worse." The Black Knight fighting King Arthur, losing every limb and continuing to soldier on. However, after the last 40 minutes, I'm going to stick with the same movie, but there is a scene that strikes a little closer to home, which is Bring Out Your Dead. That is what I've been doing for the last 40 minutes to each of these coaches. Like, listen, man, I need you to write on this card who we need to send flowers to. This has been wild. I'm not dead yet, they say.
I'll go ahead and give you mine, which is very quickly. I believe it's just Avengers Endgame because everybody's just popping out of holes magically to come through. You're like, wait, Ant-Man's in this too? And his buddy? And the other one? Like right now we're at the reserves, and it is intriguing to see how this is all going to take place. You never know who might step on the mats. I'll give you one hint. It's not me. But actually, I can't even say that firmly. It could be me. I think we may run out of people.
Yeah, don't rule it out, bro.
Yeah. My lower third, in case you guys didn't read it, said, cannot make 205. Sorry. Cannot.
Thank you for asking.
I saw you weigh yourself in a few minutes before the show started, too. And he also flexed on it as well when he did it.
Do you ever go to the doctors and they say, get on the scale? And you always think like, oh, can I just like weigh in without the shorts, or can I weigh in without this? Because this isn't my true weight. My true weight is like you're weighing in for a fight. And I do flex every time I get on there because this poor nurse is staring at me, and I go, this is just what we do. Why don't we go to our next topic before you learn too much about me? Our next topic is MVP. Now, gentlemen, I'd love to ask you both, who is the MVP of PGF Season 7? I'll start with you, Kevin Sherrill.
Yeah, I'm going to get a little cliche on you guys, and I'm going to say the MVP for this season is the fans. Specifically.
You know what? I take away your time.
No. I got you. Specifically, those of you that are out there following around your favorite athletes, commenting on streams, posts, and things that they're mentioned on, you guys driving up that engagement, you guys going to bat for those that you care about, those that you want to watch, those that you follow. You guys are absolutely doing wonders for those athletes, and we need to thank you. Without you guys doing that, it gets a lot harder for these guys to stay on the show. It gets a lot harder for these guys to show that people tune in to watch me specifically. We don't have, the ticket sales of the MMA where you write in, this is who I'm here for, Fight to Win does as well. You guys commenting on those posts, that's what matters. You guys jumping in on the stream and talking about them, that's what matters.
All right. I just realized today, if Kevin was a Planeteer, he would have been given Heart. He would not be Earth. He would not be Fire. He'd have the shitty one. Heart.
It tells me a lot about you that you think Heart is the shitty one.
It is the 30. Yeah, no, it is the shitty one because the Heart guy is like literally like, oh no, there's a natural disaster. Heart.
Yeah.
It's really going to fix
Thoughts
some
and
stuff.
prayers.
Thoughts and Prayers is actually the new Captain Planet ring. Tim, what do you have for us, sir?
Listen, this is low-hanging fruit, but there's just no way you can pick anybody else except for Ryan Aitken. This guy has scored half of his team's points. Last night, he had 3 submissions. This guy's got 3 kills and 3 breaks in the tournament. There's just no other person that you could say is the MVP for his team. If he doesn't score those points, we're in a 4-way hunt today. But Ryan has totally pushed New Hope over the top. Outside of that, I got to give a big prop to the Vice Commissioner, Drew Foster. I have been jacked up from the crack up, and he's been helping me make it through today, and I really appreciate that. He is a super friend. This guy's doing laundry for these guys. He's out there constantly all day long. And then finally, Salt Electrolytes, keeping me in the game. Thank you very much. Those are my MVPs for PGF season 7.
Well, I'll tell you somebody who's not a MVP. Willie Jiu-Jitsu basically called himself a chat MVP. Has not only been saying we're all blasting tests right now because y'all are stalling. It's not stalling. If you watch any other show, and this is to anybody in the comment section, they're like, less talking, more grappling. How does that Super Bowl programming work out, guys? You show up there exactly on time and they go, yeah, I thought so. Good try, though, guys. We're going to go now to our next topic, which is Last Hope. All right. It looks like New Hope is the front runner. Anything could happen. However, just for some last advice on this particular day, I wanted to go to you guys and see if you had any last little hints or nuggets that you could give to these teams. I'm going to start with you, Tim Freeman.
Yes, there is a way that this could happen. I thought long and hard about it last night and this morning, and I realized there's 2 things that can be done to make this game a little more evened out for first form. One is we could take Better Call Paul Ardella, and he can file an injunction against New Hope. And illegal figure taping procedures, non-regulation mouthpieces, athletes didn't bow before they came on the mat. So we could tie those guys up. They won't be able to compete today. And then number 2, and this is a 2-part thing, and I'm going to bring this horse out again and beat it. Roger Gracie's going to have to step in and get 3 kills plus the elbow genie to score 21 points, or in Kevin's world, 27 points, to put his team back up, potentially into contention. But to be honest, I don't even know if that would be enough. I don't think that's enough. 27 points,
27
points,
would not put them in the lead.
It would not put him in the lead. Yeah, he's going to need to also do something even more devastating than that. But yeah, there's not a lot of hope for the rest of the teams here. I hate to say that, but New Hope was just ran away with this.
All right, Tim, I'm going to have to interrupt you. Kevin, what notes or thoughts do you have, sir?
Start cutting weight. The next season is at 155. If you really get on a diet, you care about it, you start hitting that cardio. I saw Fedor running out in the parking lot. He's got the right mindset. He'll see you guys at 155, and he's coming for you.
Thank you for that. That's a great note. I just wanted to say some of these people should form a merged conglomerate, see if they could combine teams. And then I think it could actually be competitive because, at this point, they might still be able to nail together 5 people to be starters. But I would tell you this. We're going to move to our next topic, which is subs. This is intriguing because yesterday we had a bunch. I think Tim was trying to do the math. Tim, were you saying it was somewhere in the neighborhood of 9 submissions that happened?
9 submissions yesterday.
All right. So let's go ahead and start talking that out a little bit. Kevin, why do we have so many submissions at this particular juncture of this tournament?
That's a great stat, Tim. I love those. Well, the roster and the talent and the skill sets has finally met the meta of the PGF. You see this happen in jiu-jitsu all the time. The rule set dictates the meta. We had Ricky talking about this yesterday, about rules dictating how people approach things. It has finally happened. The meta for the PGF has almost always, when you're going against other elite guys, been leg locks. If you are trying to get that guy's back and finish him inside of 6 minutes, it's a long road. Unless you're going to take it from standing, most people have pretty good guards, pretty good back defense. They're pretty aware. As soon as you pass someone's guard, they know what you want. So joint locks have been the meta for the PGF. It just hasn't been something that the athletes have really embraced, and now you're starting to see it. We looked at the top guys coming up into the PGF when we were ranking them, and they're all joint lockers. Finally, it's happened. There's also a massive size discrepancy that's contributing to a lot of action, a lot of joint locks, a lot of being able to force positions.
Thank you for that. Tim, do you have any further observations on this high pinball scoring card?
Yeah, I think, specifically with the lower body, I think what it is, and Kevin will like this because he's a stats guy, with the big guys, the traps to head ratio and the bicep to shoulder ratio is so off the charts that these guys are really hard to choke, hard to armbar, hard to shoulder lock. But the legs, we can just say it. We don't like big guys. Big guys skip leg day, and that's where we have a weak link, and these leg lockers have been able to get in and find the subs on the legs. We've seen some devastating breaks, and I think that really plays into it. Big guys are really pretty difficult to choke. I know we say, just take their back and choke them. You can't defend against it. You can't flex out of a choke. Well, if you don't have a neck, you can.
And that seems to be the case today. There are some mismatches in the body sizes, but the leg lock seem to be the rule of the day.
Thank you for that. Listen, our next topic is one close to home here because I don't know if you could tell this, but if you're doing the math, we're very low on reserves. Even the reserves need reserves. So it was suggested at one point that potentially Kevin could have been in this tournament. We're now going to get the update officially from the man himself. Kevin, are you grappling today, and can you say that for certain?
I can't say for certain. Currently, I'm out of the initial lineups. However, that's by a thread. That is by a thread. I think there is one alternate left available for a single team. That's New Hope, and they've looked pretty healthy all week. I think everyone else is on their last guy, and if there's an injury, I may be in. Unless that injury is for first form, in which case their coach may be stepping in. If there's 2 injuries, you may get your wish. It might be Hodger. But, yeah, it's been tough. Yesterday, when guys started to fly, Drew came up to me while I was sitting in the corner hanging out with Sergio and Reese Watkins, and he goes, "Hey, man, I got something to ask you. It's kind of uncomfortable. I don't know if you can do this favor." And I'm kind of listening. I go, "Do you have a kit for me?" And he goes, "You knew what I was going to ask, huh?" I was like, "I've been waiting for you to walk over here. We can all do the math. We can see everyone running short on alternates. And today, I may get in there. It may be in the second. It's going to have to be in the second or third block. So if y'all see an injury, you might see this tie come
Kevin,
off.
would you like to pitch yourself right now and make a case for why they should put you in?
Yeah, New Hope. Don't you guys feel tired? Aren't you ready to do the playoffs? Start taking some matches off. We just talked about mathematically, you've got it locked up. You're going to get that $100,000. And if you need somebody to take $1,700 a match, I'm willing to be that guy. I'm a good guy like that. I'll even shave a little off the top. Listen, we can negotiate $1,200. $1,200 a match?
No,
that sounds
hey,
fair.
hold on. First of all, that's $1,700 more than we're paying him. And full disclosure, stop offering to do it for less, young man. As your manager who's taking 20% of your cut, we need to be very clear on how we're doing this. So let's just say this. It says, look, I don't want anyone getting injured, but we need Handsome Kev on the mats. And that's from John Doe. And yeah, you know what? I love that. I appreciate that. Gentlemen, I think that's going to do it for us here at the pre-show. Just to kind of remind you guys, you're going to want to stick around. You're going to want to watch the full thing, watch 30 matches, come back and hang with your friends here at the post-show. And then we'll have some interviews. We'll have some fun. We'll talk about fantasy, maybe who's a fantasy champ. I don't know, me. And then, you know who's not a fantasy? Shut up. You know who's not a fantasy champ? Egghead. But Egghead was willing to step in and almost work with us to fill in Kevin's shoes. So it just goes to show the bench is deep here for this team. So we appreciate that. Anyway,
God, everybody needs alternates, even the bullpen.
I'm gonna offer you up to the very first person that give me that. But I want to say thank you guys so much for watching. Hey, it's been a great day for grappling. We'll see you back on the mats.